So are the 2022 Vikings lucky?
He avoids pressure and heaves it deep. Samuel, the officials down there, and Samuel makes the catch!
Are they frauds or pretenders? They're 12-3. You know, there's a difference between bounces magically going your way. My impression watching them is not that they're lucky. I just can't explain how they do what they do when they do it. I want to actually go back to a few games that analyze whether, in fact, the Vikings were indeed lucky. And what's prompted me to do this analysis is there's this Packers blogger or something. Forget his name. I think his last name starts with Butt. Vikings fans on Twitter can annoy me with their homerism, but this guy take the worst Vikings fan times a million. And I won't even comment on how he wears the George Costanza ladies' glasses from Seinfeld.
May I have one of those, madam?
This thing that really set me off, that made me want to make this video, is this guy, Butt, with the George Costanza ladies' glasses. He posts this tweet: Vikings fans get mad when you talk about luck, but this stuff is all mostly luck.
Great grammar.
No team has benefited more from fumble luck this year than Minnesota, and it isn't particularly close.
And right back to him with a stutter step. Cook just weaving his way through. Oh, ball comes out. Indy picks it up.
Fumble luck. That's a stat that you would look to if you've never watched a single game.
Stutter step. Cook just weaving his way through. Oh, ball comes out. Indy picks it up.
I guess what this is saying is that if there's a fumble, the ball just bounces straight into the hands of a Vikings player.
Through. Oh, ball comes out. Indy picks it up.
And so if that didn't happen, the Vikings would probably be like a 500 team or worse. This stat also says that the Packers have benefited from fumble luck. So I guess the Packers would be winless if not for fumble luck. This is beyond the pale here. Fumble luck. The thing is here, okay, maybe he's right, okay? Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe it all is just luck. I'm going to go back to 5 games the Vikings played this year. I'm going to start with the game against the Commanders, the game against the Bills, the game against the Colts, the game against the Eagles, and then we'll finish it off with the game against the Dolphins. Okay, so let's start with the Commanders game. And how lucky did the Vikings get?
He avoids pressure and heaves it deep. Samuel, the officials down there, and Samuel makes the catch!
Okay, but maybe the Vikings got lucky in the Bills game. Patrick Peterson made an interception in the end zone when the Vikings were down 10. I guess that's luck that you have a veteran player who makes a smart play. No, it's not. The Vikings take the ball, they score a touchdown, and then Greg Joseph misses the extra point. That's the closest thing to luck that we've seen in this Bills game thus far, and that went against the Vikings. And then, okay, the Vikings get the ball back down 4. They end up 4th and 18. Cousins airmails a throw a little bit to Jefferson. Jefferson goes up, makes an unbelievably miraculous catch. Is that luck? No, that's just a great player making a great play in a great moment. And again, you'd have to watch the game to see this. Anyway, we keep going. The Vikings drive down. Then Jefferson catches a touchdown pass to give the Vikings the lead. Oh, but on review, they rule he was down at the half-yard line. Correct call, but hey, that's kind of unlucky for the Vikings that he was a half-yard short. Then 4th and goal. Cousins throws it to Cook. Cook bobbles it and drops it. He would have been in the end zone. Not everything is just going smoothly for the Vikings, like you'd expect if they were so lucky. And then Cousins comes up short on 4th and goal on the sneak. Now, it was borderline. I don't know if he actually was short or not, but they called him short. Pretty much everything had to go against them to keep them 1 inch out of the end zone on 3 plays. Then we get to the play that some would probably say is lucky, which is the fumbled snap that the Vikings recover for a touchdown. Well, why were they in that stressful situation? Because the Vikings offense drove down to the 1 inch line, worked to get the Bills in that situation. The Vikings put them there in that tough situation. And when that snap was fumbled, watch these purple jerseys. Okay, again, you'd have to watch the game to see these things rather than sit at home in your George Costanza ladies' glasses watching My Fair Lady. All these guys dive for that ball. It's not an accident. That's a team that wants to win. So I didn't see much luck in that Bills game. Oh, there was some bad luck when the refs didn't call 12 men on the field in overtime when the Vikings had 1st and goal. There were a lot of almost plays that the Vikings made where they could have given up, and they just kept battling, and kept battling. Okay, the Colts game, down 33-0. Obviously, we're talking luck here, right? You got to be lucky to come back 33-0. With the Colts game, let's talk fumble luck, which the guy in the George Costanza ladies' glasses likes to point out. Vikings are driving. Cook gets a big run, and then the next play, Cook fumbles, and a ball bounces right into a Colts defender's eye. I guess that's just bad luck. When you fumble and it goes to the other team, it's just bad luck. It's not that your running back made a bad play. So that's just bad luck that went against the Vikings. Another play where the Vikings defender stripped the guy, but they called forward progress stopped. It would have been a fumble 6. And then later in the game, there was another what should have been a fumble 6. If you look at fumble luck in this game, it was all in the Colts' favor. Did the Vikings get a lot of other lucky plays coming back from 33-0? Well, not really. It was a slog, sort of like with that Bills game where not everything was going their way. Jefferson stopped short of the goal line. Cook dropping that pass. Cousins getting stopped at the 1-inch line. And in this Colts game, Cousins throwing the interception. The fumble 6 getting called back. It hasn't come easy. And what you see is they have to face a lot of adversity throughout the course of the comeback and keep fighting and keep battling. Unlike some people who don't keep battling. But now let's go to this Eagles game, a game that they lost. You get handled in the first half. They were down, I think, 24-7 at half. In that first half, Cousins throws a perfect pass to noted sack of crap Irv Smith Jr., who just drops it. Could have changed the game. I would call that fumble luck because it's kind of a fumble, right? It's in his hands and he drops it. By all rights, it should have bounced in the air and bounced back into his hands because he's a Viking, and that's what balls do. They just bounce into the Vikings' hands.
Stutter step, Cook just weaving his way through. Oh, ball comes out. Indy picks it up.
Then you go into the second half. Vikings come out, have a long drive. Then Cousins throws an interception in the red zone. Must be his thumb. Must have a bad thumb. Eagles get the ball. Then the Vikings block a field goal. And Chris Boyd, a cornerback, somehow gets caught from behind by, I think, the holder. That's kind of bad luck, isn't it? And Cousins throws an interception. Again, must be his thumb. He must have something wrong with his thumb. The Eagles get the ball back, and the Vikings get an interception. Cousins immediately throws another interception because obviously he's something wrong with his thumb. But the point with this Eagles game is I saw all the mistakes, the interceptions by Cousins, the drop by Irv Smith, and just thought this team doesn't have it. But looking back now, if they were lucky, they might have won that game. If some fumble luck had gone Irv Smith's way, Chris Boyd doesn't get caught from behind by the holder. I mean, it's really unlucky Cousins had that problem with his thumb because that's always the reason that your quarterback would suck. But I'm not seeing any luck that's driving these Vikings wins. But again, you'd have to watch the games to understand this rather than sit at home in your George Costanza ladies' classes. But, you watch this channel, there's bound to be a twist ending. And so I'm going to go to this Dolphins game. Probably the luckiest. Dolphins are pretty much handling the Vikings. And then Tua gets a concussion. It's really unfortunate what's happened to him. He plays the rest of the game with a concussion, throws 3 interceptions in the second half, pretty much gives the game away. That's luck. Okay, that is luck. That is the definition of luck when the opposing quarterback is severely injured but keeps playing and can't do anything but give the game to you. Oh, wait, that's right. That wasn't the Vikings playing against the Dolphins. That was the Packers, of course. Frickin' lucky. But that's the problem. I don't see luck for the Vikings. I just see a team that somehow comes together in these big moments. And I think this is probably an ephemeral thing that next year doesn't happen, right? Period in time when this team has gelled in a way that is rare, that's hard to explain. People who wear George Costanza ladies' glasses, I don't think can understand this. You'd have to have some understanding of greatness. You'd have to have worked with great people on great teams to understand anything about why that happens. And you have to have an appreciation for clutch play. Clutch play is a real thing. Some guys step it up in the clutch. I live in New England, so I got to see a lot of Red Sox-Yankees games. Derek Jeter.
Hug Derek Jeter.
That guy was clutch. Derek Jeter, maybe the most clutch player of all time. If you disrespect Derek Jeter, you don't know what you're talking. David Ortiz, one of the most clutch players of all time. Some guys turn it on in the big moments. And some guys, when they get to the playoffs, they just disappear. Vikings play the Packers on Sunday. I don't know who's going to win. But I do know that if the Vikings lose, it'll be because, obviously, fumble luck wasn't on their side.